Like any true introvert, it's no surprise that even the most personable INFJ personality type dreads any form of social event. Between the sensory overstimulation, the mix of energies, and the monotonous small talk, it takes a lot for the INFJ to work up the spirit to show up, even if they leave halfway through. Welcome, or welcome back, psychos! In today's video, we're discussing 6 tips any INFJ can use to cope with attending a social event. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's jump right into it, starting with number 1. Plan something to look forward to ahead of time. Sorry if we scared you with the big words social and event all in one sentence, INFJs. Let's bring it back with some more calming words like nature walk, watching the sunset, bubble bath, solitude, home, bed. Much better. That's exactly the idea of this first tip. INFJs are naturally future-focused thinkers, meaning when there's a dreaded social gathering that they're obligated to attend, it tends to be the only thing they can think about until it's over. With a million questions running through their minds about who they'll see, how they'll act, and if it's going to be as distressing as they're anticipating, it can be seriously difficult to get a grip. This is where focusing even further in the future can help. If INFJs have something to genuinely look forward to after the event, it makes all the difference in actually making an appearance and possibly even enjoying themselves. Now, we're not talking about anything major, but something like looking forward to the complimentary bottle of wine and jacuzzi tub that came with the hotel room. Or something as simple as laying out fresh pajamas before leaving for the night. Anything that helps give a visual picture of the enjoyment that comes after, especially when people's emotions are crowding in and the flashing lights and loud music is taking its toll. Number 2. Do your research. When it comes to attending something out of the ordinary, the INFJ feels best when they can answer most of their questions beforehand. You know, the dozens of questions that pop up before anything that needs planning. Like, how far is it from me? Is there food being served? Do they accommodate allergies? How many people will I know there? Will there be drinking? What is the appropriate attire? Where is the entrance of the building? Can I bring a guest? Should I bring a guest? What's the weather supposed to be like that day? Is it indoor or outdoor? You get the drift. Sometimes the majority of anxiety and uncertainty can be solved within the days prior to the event. All it takes is a little familiarity. Of course, it's not healthy to overthink or plan every hour of an event to plot each movement from when you step foot in the door. And rather than creating further imaginative expectations of this new experience using this information, which is almost inevitable, INFJs should only use it to calm their nerves. Plus, the research doesn't necessarily end upon arrival. It makes all the difference to do a good walk around in order to know where the essentials are, like the bathrooms and exits prior to mingling. For the INFJ, control calms nerves, so finding a balance of control and enjoyment is key. Number 3. Bring something to keep your hands busy. INFJs are always observing other people's body language, using even the slightest hand gestures, body swing, and eye movements to paint a picture of how someone is feeling. On the flip side, they make it a point to consciously keep composure with their slightest of body movements in order to not come across as nervous, uninterested, or shy. I mean, we can all agree that there's nothing worse than standing in a room full of people stuck awkwardly shifting from foot to foot with your arms by your sides. Or worse, slouching with your arms crossed. Instead, simple things like a handbag that you can fish around in if there's nowhere else to look, or even a phone if used sparingly in times of awkward emergencies. Another great option is to hold a drink. Of course, it doesn't have to be alcoholic. although that may just help the situation entirely. In fact, in settings where there is food and drink, it's natural for the INFJ to subconsciously feel more comfortable if they are participating in the same actions as those around them. Whatever it is, for the INFJ to have something to hold that neutralizes their body language and allows them to resort to in times of cringe or awkwardness makes all the difference when it comes to spending time in larger crowds. Number 4. Overstimulated? Take a breather. It's hard to believe, but social functions aren't actually as easy as they seem for most people. Everyone manages socializing differently, and it's not just introverts that need tools to manage certain settings. So, when it comes to the so-called extroverted introvert INFJ, there's no shame in finding ways to cool down in times of sensory overload. Known as a highly sensitive personality type, most INFJs can relate to the feeling of being overwhelmed by overloads of sensory input. And so, finding ways to intermittently unwind during social events is crucial. Whether it's excusing yourself to the washroom, pretending you left something in your car, or texting a friend or family member to call you so that you can slip out for a moment to cleanse your sensory palate. Fresh air is the most optimal option in times of sensory overload. However, sometimes just creating a short distance between the main event can make all the difference. Wherever you choose, have a miniature restorative session as you calibrate and spend time with your own thoughts while taking inventory of your mental state. The only trick to this tip is working up the energy to go back to the social gathering after getting that brief taste of freedom. In other words, if you're going to your car to de-stress, maybe don't bring your keys, because there's a 95% chance you're driving away. Number 5. Don't try to blend with every crowd. It's not always a conscious decision when the INFJ uses their chameleon-like advantages in social settings. However, it's almost always apparent on some level. Whether it's changing their tone of voice, the topics they engage in, or how deep they go in their contributions to the conversation, INFJs are always feeling out the energy of the room and adapting their energy accordingly. And while this helps other people feel more comfortable around the INFJ in small social settings, it's a little more tricky to use efficiently when it comes to larger crowds. When there's a blend of characters, interests, and personality types, INFJs can drive themselves crazy when it comes to deciding which role to play. And although this makes this personality type seem rather ingenuine, each time the INFJ alters their social essence, it's always within the bounds of their deeper morals and values. Yet, on the outside, people don't see that, and it can be rather confusing to see the INFJ become rather upbeat around certain people and closed off around others. Number 6. Standards and self-respect are allowed. So many INFJs are stuck feeling obligated to attend social outings they really would rather not attend just because of their perfectionistic standards for themselves. With the tendency to skip out on certain things people would consider fun in order to work on themselves, start a new project, or plant seeds for the future, INFJs often question whether or not they should let loose more often. This fear of missing out, paired with their people-pleasing tendencies, causes some INFJs to overlook their intuitive feelings in order to not disappoint others. This is when it's best to first stop and listen to what's going on within. Is there obligation at hand? Was there guilt-tripping or self-criticizing at play? Is it worth spending valuable time with the people attending? And, with these conclusions, remember it's okay to say no. In fact, this empathetic personality type is one of the main types that could benefit from learning when to say no and when setting the necessary boundaries around their own energy is appropriate. In the end, it all comes down to deciding which social situations are not only bearable enough to attend, but which ones may actually be enjoyable and worth the push past comfort zone territory. Well, psychos, that's it for today's video. So, as an INFJ, what do you do to mentally prepare for a large social gathering? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.